Okay. Welcome to Lisa Beats Your Meat, episode 77. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers. Welcome, guys.
Cheers.
We got some guests today.
Sorry, tonight we have Dustin, Dusty DJ, and Raven.
Whatever works for you.
They are like famous vegans from Columbus.
Oh,
I feel
okay.
like if you're from Columbus and you've been to any Columbus event, they've seen you sculpting ice.
Yeah, for sure.
Try to get around to as many of those events as I can.
You do well. So we're going to interview them. They're both vegan, and we're going to talk about their journey to being vegan, how it is in their life, and also how you guys are so freaking in shape. That's like really what I want to learn. You guys are both like ripped, so
That's
I'd like to.
nice of you.
Yeah, I'd like to know how that happens. But before we begin, we want to talk about. Oh, we would like you to subscribe. What, Jimmy?
You always
What's
hate
like
doing
the
this.
promo?
Like us on iTunes is the best thing you can do.
Okay.
Give us a 5-star rating.
Okay.
Leave a comment or whatever you're listening to us on. Just like it or leave a comment. It
Right.
just moves us up higher if you search vegan. On Podbean, we're number 2. If you search us on iTunes, we're number like 45.
We're number 2 on Podbeam?
Yeah.
Wow.
We have the second most followers on that whole platform.
That's
Yeah.
really
under
that whole-
vegan. If you search the
Under
word vegan,
vegan.
yes.
That's
pretty
really
cool.
cool.
But
That's really
on
cool.
iTunes, the more they have a formula that we can't figure out, but it seems to be the more stars you get, and the more comments, and the longer you've been a show, the farther you move up. But
Damn algorithm.
Yeah.
I can't. No one knows what it is, and they won't tell anyone. They don't even tell you how many followers you have.
They
On
won't tell you that?
iTunes?
No. So the place that hosts our show, every time we get a follower, we get an email, and there's a number next to your name, so you can see exactly how many followers. So you can see who your followers are. You can say, "Hey, thanks for following me." But iTunes, they won't even tell you.
That's silly.
No clue.
That's really silly.
And that's the number. That's where everyone's listening to podcasts.
Yeah, iTunes. No, I actually really like listening to, and I listen to podcasts. I like
Do you,
listening
Lisa?
on Podbeam. I think iTunes, the app, I really don't like it.
I don't either.
If they're listening, like, don't like,
Yeah,
give me
tomorrow
bad stars
we're
or whatever.
gonna
But
be 150th on
Yeah.
the list.
just kidding. Also, go to our website, lisabeatsyourmeat.com. There's a bunch of new recipes up there, and there's also a meal plan for free. It's just for dinners, so it's 7 days of dinners, but it's really cool, and you should check it out.
Yeah, it's a shopping list, everything.
Shopping list included. I was going to talk about food, but I don't think we've really. It's been same old, same old.
Fair
You
enough.
know, I
Sure,
can
we got
go
a lot
in-
of other stuff to talk about.
We do. So we can bypass the food. We've been eating okay. We had stir fry tonight. It was all right. I had hoisin sauce. I wasn't my favorite. Did you like it?
I liked it. That was great.
I thought it just wasn't my favorite flavor.
I like your Asian
I was looking at some of the
Persuasion?
pictures of some of the stuff that you make. And
Yeah?
it looks like magazine photos
It's
of
not.
like food.
It's just a portrait mode.
It's on
you
the
know?
daily.
I'm just kidding.
Lisa's just cooking on the daily.
Well,
Incredible.
I stay home from. I'm a mom, stay-at-home mom, so it's like part of my like job title. It's just really good food.
Yeah, I come home and she's all stressed out because the kids are crazy, and I'm like, well, you're also. I mean, I don't want to say like, well, you don't have to make a full gourmet meal every day because I want one. So.
Yeah, I know. I don't
I'm
mind
sure that
it.
makes it harder.
I mean, we can talk about this, but providing healthy food for your family is like super important.
Should be number
so-
one on the list.
Yeah,
you know?
so I don't really
At least up
mind.
there on the top.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's just get into it. So, okay, first question I have for you guys is, did you become vegan together or separate? Because we're always really curious about vegan couples.
Well, we became vegan at the same time, but we were vegetarian. I was vegetarian for 2 years before that, and you were a vegetarian for like
17 years.
And you weren't together at like.
So basically, we became vegan together as one unit after we were married. And I'd been a vet tech and stuff like that, so I'd work on the inside of the factory farming industry. So I had a lot of convictions myself. And
Wait, did you work on like farm animals that got sick and stuff? Like you dealt with those? Okay, so you knew what was going on in those
I've been
farms.
in pretty deep with this, and I've worked in the research field as well. So
Whoa.
I pretty much had no excuse not to go vegan. I knew a lot, and I was educating him. He fought me a little bit at first, but Actually, he went vegetarian shortly after, about a week after we had got married. And then shortly after that, we both went vegan together because I kept showing him pictures and like saying, we need to go vegan. And he was a little bit reluctant to do it. And he kept pushing back. And I was thinking, I don't want my husband to resent me, but I think I'm going to snap. So anyways, I didn't, I guess I almost snapped, but basically we went vegan together. I said, I'm doing most of the shopping. I'm not going to buy any more meat, dairy, eggs. It's not coming in this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always like a really good like card to have as the person doing the grocery shopping. It's kind of like, well, you don't have to be a vegan, but we're not having any meat or dairy here anymore. So
Yeah. So have fun finding it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Well, I do know some people that they only cook vegan, but then when they go out, they're like, oh, it's too hard.
Yeah. Well,
And I'm like, I feel like
yeah.
that would be really a yo-yo for your body. But
yeah, I get that, but
so you
just, like,
just
never
were
go
like,
out,
we're
so.
going vegan. It wasn't like, let's try this for a little bit, or
no, there was no excuses because I'd already seen what really goes
Yeah.
on, and like with the background I have in science in the medical field, there's literally no excuse at that point when you've been that well informed to not change. It's very unwise.
yeah.
And you kind of feel bad about yourself. So if you want to feel good about your decisions, you just kind of have to go with what you know.
I think
Well,
that's why, there's people that, most people aren't vegan, obviously. You come
Right.
across people all the time, but for me, it's never been an issue of someone having all the information and still deciding to, eat terrible meat too.
But I
It's
know
more of
people
like-
like that
Well, they-
know it, and then they're like,
Well, they're
I'm
just-
just choosing not to do it.
Well, I don't know.
And I don't
There's
get
some
it.
people that I think that just humor us because they're our friends or family, but they must just not agree with the information. Because if you're presented with the environmental impact, the health benefits, and then obviously what's happening to animals, and they feel like if you truly understand all three of those things, and you're
What are you
still
waiting
doing
for?
it,
Yeah.
then you're either disagreeing with whatever information is coming at you. You don't think it's healthier. You don't think it's better for the environment, or you're
You could
Trying not to.
possibly argue that I could see where someone's coming from to say that the environmental aspect is not as serious as it is, or the health aspect. But like to be like, oh, animals they're treated okay. Like that's like, you cannot get me on that one.
Yeah.
You know.
A lot of people just don't care.
Well,
they know how
and-
they're treated.
And people, I think, a lot of times are like, they definitely are reluctant to change in a lot of cases. And part of that is a lot of people, in my view, look at it like, well, if I decide that, that I got to change, then that means I have to admit that I did something wrong, or
That makes
or I
sense.
was doing something that, I shouldn't be doing, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's hard for a lot of people to do, I think, sometimes. I mean, I was one of those people, like I was raised in, farm country, Logan County up by Bell Fountain.
Okay.
So I was like, when I grew up, I had like a chicken farm across the field from me. Then I had like a pig farm on my same road. And then like, it was just livestock farms all over the place. And I never really made that connection like, oh, this is wrong. I was just like, oh, this is how it is,
Yeah. So would you like? That's what I don't get. We actually, I hope they're not listening, but our neighbors, like 2 doors down, have chickens, and they were at the farmers market the other day, and of course Jimmy and I, like Jimmy's like a way more annoying vegan than I am. Like he's really like coming out of the gates like.
He's driving me crazy right now.
No, but he like these chickens were at the farmers market, and Jimmy was like, what are you gonna do when they're done? Are you gonna eat them? Kind of like baiting him, and he was like, yeah, we're gonna eat them. And we were just like, what? These are your pets. Like you named them all. You like talk very fondly of them. And then the guy was like, well, I might
Is the marching band
oh
starting?
my God. It's amazing.
Oh, we're outside on our back porch.
It's actually
Literally
pretty
like
awesome.
marching down the alley. What's happening?
They're
Well,
practicing.
Actually, drum and bass line's my favorite, so I love it. I could listen to this stuff like all day.
That'll liven it
Luckily-
up. Get you pumped up, ready.
Yeah.
I actually like it when I'm doing like the ice carvings and stuff, and they'll have
Get
like
it?
the bands marching down the road, and I'm just
Yeah.
like kind of dancing around while I'm carving. And stuff.
Well, and for the sake of this podcast, fortunately, the West High Band is about 9 people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
That was quick.
Just a
It's
little
over.
taste.
yeah,
Just
it's
a
pretty
little
much
taste.
fading away quickly.
Yeah.
But anyways,
My point was is that these people were like, we're gonna eat our chickens, and we were just like, what? And actually, the guy after it was like, I was like, well, are you gonna like kill them young, or are you gonna let them live their life, or something like along that? And he was like, well, they'll probably be really old, and so the meat won't be that good. We'll maybe make like a chicken stock or something. I was like, what? And even then, at that point, he was like, yeah, it might be hard for me to eat it. And I was like,
Oh, so he did break down.
yeah,
Yeah.
he did like give a little bit of like, yeah, I might not do that. But I just always find that really weird. Like, I know a lot of people that like grew up on farms or whatever, and they're like, this is how it is. And I'm like, but they're like, how? How is that just how it
it's the
is?
life. I mean, we're talking about our son trying to get rid of dairy, but you're raised a certain way, and that's all you know.
Well, and you also have that constant bombardment of promotion, and who has the big money?
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
it's the meat and dairy industries, like and big pharma. And I think I'm positive that they're all tied in together. It's
Yeah.
like, we can just keep feeding these people this stuff, and we're gonna make this money off of it, and then
you think it's like,
then we can double dip later
yeah,
when they're on all their
double down.
prescriptions.
Yeah, so like,
for sure.
not only do they eat the meat, but that meat gives them diseases, and then that backs the pharma.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
create more patients.
That's definitely, and that's disgusting.
Yeah.
That's
But
so
it's
horrible.
Very important for the healthcare model to have that. Otherwise, patients won't come back
Yeah.
and get their blood work every 2-3 months, and they won't
Yeah.
be diabetic. So it's an
Yeah.
enormous scam.
Yeah.
Can't get you to pay for all those prescription drugs. Like if you can just clean up your diet and change your lifestyle a little bit, you can probably eliminate most of those.
Yeah.
And you say
We
that to
always say
some people,
broccoli
and
is really cheap and not endorsed by anyone. And like, we joke that like we've been backed by
you
broccoli.
don't see a lot of broccoli commercials.
Yeah.
But there's
Yeah,
just so
right.
many intelligent people out there that you say that to, and they're like,
No way.
No. Like, you're going to die at 70 skinny vegan, I'll die at 70 a fat guy. It's
No.
like
It's a
there's a lot
total
more
different-
to it.
You enjoy that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I told you so, but it's going to take me 50 years. It's going to be
Yeah.
some I told you so.
and what ailments is that person going to be dealing with too?
That's the other
Well,
thing. Yeah,
it's
what's-
funny because Jimmy
how
and
did
I
you feel up
got
to that point.
a couple episodes ago we did one about CBD oil, and we were reading through it, and we're not like spring chickens over here. You're like 38, right?
Yeah.
I'm 33, so like we're not super old, but we're not super young. And we were reading through like what good CBD oil does for you, and it was just like chronic issue, and we were like, we don't have any of these, so this isn't going to benefit us.
Yeah, it's like it's good for inflammation and not sleeping and all these things that vegan doesn't deal with.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been vegan? When did
let's get-
this?
We're about 5 years in,
Okay.
and we're the same exact ages, the female and
Oh, really?
33 and 38.
Wow,
it's
that's
funny.
Very
funny.
interesting.
Yeah.
Twinsies.
Yeah.
Shout out Kaylin Rhodes.
So I'm coming in at about 4 years, and I
Okay.
remember. So we met you guys through our friend Coach
Cat.
Cat, who's been on the show a few times, so
Yeah.
people have heard of him.
We actually saw him yesterday when we were on our way back from a playground workout.
Oh,
He
really?
was
Made him
driving
come
past
out.
us and he honked all loud and startled her. And then we went over to the barber shop because we actually saw where he was parked, and I went up. I'm like up there without a shirt on, like looking in the window and stuff. Then he came out and chatted with us for a second. He said he might pop by today. But
Oh, really?
He said he might hop by.
Oh, that'd be
He
great.
should.
Because he lives pretty close now.
It was like 5 doors down.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, he moved across the street from where we both lived before.
It's like
which
we
is
were
the
his
next block.
parents,
Oh.
and he moved out across the street.
Are you sad?
No. Oh God, no.
Yeah.
No.
It's not allowed back in. No.
I was just talking about how he thought he was like the best tenant because he paid his rent on time, but he also had like 4 couches in there.
Oh my!
Like all the walls were dented. The front door or the door had to be like replaced because it was like completely dented.
He was fine.
Yeah,
But,
he's funny though. He was
yeah,
a child
so
for a while.
I was right before we moved in there, so is when I went
Became
vegan. So
vegan.
I'm going on 4 years now, but
Cool.
I don't know. It's just there's no really looking back. But I started not like I'm doing this. It was like I'm just gonna try this.
Yeah.
And give it a whirl. But
Well,
Sometimes
that's because
all people need.
Yeah.
Just
well, I was the one that helped him, solidify this. But so, who's like the cook here? That's very important.
I would say it's about
I think it's about 50-50.
50-50.
Like
Really?
cold food prep is usually me.
Yeah.
And like deciding like what to put together in order to like maximize nutrient uptakes is probably a little bit more on me.
Okay.
But when it comes to like flavoring things, DJ's excellent, and he's a lot more patient than I am. So when you add heat, he's the guy you go to if you don't want it burnt. So he's really.
You guys work together in the kitchen. I would lose it. We have a very great relationship because he doesn't come anywhere near the kitchen.
We should start doing that.
Not interested.
Well, and then I'll get mad because I have to do all the work, and then you'll be making.
There's no win.
Sometimes he'll make stuff that I'm like, I told you not to use that spice. Do I have to throw it away? And I'm like,
it's cumin.
It's not cumin. It's that other Indian spice I don't
Could
like.
you imagine if we were
Baltic
cooking
curry,
together?
No, that Baltic curry. I'm not.
It's
okay
it's
with
a weird
that.
mix that she doesn't like, I guess, in it, but it has cumin in there.
Tastes like you're eating
and some other
flowers.
stuff, cinnamon.
Many chefs in the kitchen for us. Cooks in the kitchen. I don't even like when you like unload the dishwasher, and I think you do it on purpose because you put like pots and pans in like the wrong places, and I think you do it to be like, well, I don't know where this goes.
You son of a-
Yeah.
Are you doing that on purpose?
And then I just have to put it back.
No.
Anyways,
Well, it's a long story, but Lisa rearranges a lot.
Okay, moving on. Okay,
Ooh,
so
we're delving into some deeper issues.
Right.
Here. All right.
So, she's telling me to be quiet. Anyways, so you guys are both vegan now for 4 years because of your advice. And did you fall deep into this, or was it like were ears and eyes open, or no?
Well,
Well, you were a vegetarian before. I guess let's talk about that. Why were you a vegetarian before?
well, mostly because I had switched because I knew that was the way that she was going to eat, and then I was like, if I'm gonna make food, I'm gonna make food that we can both eat. It's silly.
It's more convenient.
Yeah, it's silly to do it two different ways, and I was somewhat open to it. I just wanted to, you have like your comfort food addictions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Those things go away relatively quickly after you start to see the health benefits. And that's what happened with me.
It feels better than it tastes.
Well, yeah, and that was one of the main reasons that I had switched, is I started healing up faster.
You mean like from working out?
Yeah, because her and I both met in a mixed martial arts gym, and we, you're going through rigorous training, like sometimes 11, 12 training sessions a week, and your body gets real banged up. And
Wait, 11 or 12 training sessions, and what does that look like?
Well,
were you doing that like professionally? What is this?
Not professionally. It was just a long time of me kind of like just trying to find myself in the sport.
Okay.
And so I was doing it amateur on an amateur scale, but
do you guys both fight people?
yeah, we've both had. Like,
Do you still doing it?
That's how we know Coach Cat. We used to be over in that gym.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Space with him, because we used to go over there and train with his wrestlers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try to
But
like lead them.
do you still? It's I have the
Jiu-jitsu.
hardest time pronouncing that word.
It's a hard word if you're not used to it.
I
You're
know.
trained
Jiu-jitsu's
into it.
I've never
different
actually even
than
tried.
Fighting, yeah.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu actually is like without the strikes. So it's actually I don't want to say it's very easy, but it's a lot softer in a lot of aspects on a competition scale versus wrestling. Wrestling kind of grinds out and bangs you up a little bit more. But you can see some jiu-jitsu matches get rough, but the rules often have been tailored to make it a little bit more low injury. And in my opinion, it softens the sport a little bit. That's why you see a wrestler go against some jiu-jitsu person, and the jiu-jitsu person will complain a lot.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to getting cross-faced like that,
Right.
or ground into the ground like that. So
Okay, that's really interesting.
Man.
So you,
jiu-jitsu, yes, we both do jiu-jitsu, but but the fighting stuff is with strikes, knees, elbows, but not so much in practice, but more like
not a
punches.
punch.
Yeah, well, that's
Lots
the
of that.
primary.
Okay.
Yeah. He kicks more than I do, but yeah.
Yeah, and so like we don't compete now, but we train like we were gonna have a competition. And I had a person reach out to me a couple weeks ago to see if I wanted to take a match, and I was like, yeah, because I saw the other person that I saw the other person on their debut, and I was like,
You got him.
I hated the guy.
Really?
Why did you hate him?
Well, I hated him because so in a mixed martial arts match, when the referee separates the two, like it's over, right?
Yeah.
And this guy,
It's a lot of like manners, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and this guy
Etiquette,
like dove over the referee to try to keep fighting the guy. And the odd thing is, the guy is a pastor.
What?
And he has a big
he's
following.
called the fighting pastor.
Yeah.
Whoa,
So you're a
what
pastor.
religion, you know?
I don't know.
Well,
But I mean,
a lot of questions.
I think that if he's trying to help people and stuff, that's cool. But I think he's got a couple of issues he needs to figure out with himself too. So.
So you gonna do it?
I mean,
waiting to hear back.
my hat's in the ring. So
That's
it's-
So when you became vegan, you said that training wise, you felt your body recover better.
Yeah, because
We really not to. If I could paint a picture of who I'm sitting in front of, you both are very in shape. Like Jimmy the other day said he saw you at Satan's Realm, the food truck, and he was like,
That was a while back, yeah.
He was like, they were there, and he was like, I ran 20 miles so I could enjoy this sandwich, or I biked 30 miles
Hey,
here.
you guys had shown up after, I think, one of your playground workouts or something.
Yeah.
You're like, I just want to enjoy this sandwich. And Jimmy's like, okay, I'm going to go home on the couch and eat this, watching TV.
After 4 beers.
You guys are ripped. So I think you need to fight, regularly. It just to promote veganism.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
and that's what
That's-
my intention was,
yeah.
because the proceeds from the match were going to go to a charity of your choosing, which I was going to choose the Columbus Veg Community.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
And then he was going to choose, I think, cancer research. But I'm like,
And you were like,
I'm like, well, the money's going to go to cancer prevention,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
cancer
So we
research.
can
Get ahead
the
of
money
it.
to Columbus Veg Community. They can use that money to buy samples of vegan food, sample them to free to all walks of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Preventing cancer, helping people, or he can continue to give to whoever.
That'd be really cool. You probably get a pretty good turnout, too.
Well,
you
we
know.
also were going to
When
give
is
him a vegan
It's-
rundown in the ring too, basically so if I win, you have to eat vegan for a month.
yeah.
And
I
if
love
you
it.
win, I have to eat a steak right here in front of everybody. But
Oh.
I'm willing to take that risk.
That's a
because-
great
people-
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you win, he has to eat vegan for a month. If you lose, you have to eat a steak.
Yeah.
That's because that's
People go crazy
you're,
over that.
you're totally invested.
Yeah.
You know,
Fully
your heart's
invested,
on the
and it
line.
goes
Keep up
against-
the ideas, guys. I'm the one who has to fight.
Yeah.
and eat the steak if you
But
lose.
I haven't heard anything back, so I don't really have a lot of confidence it's going to happen. So
Well, we really
But-
hope it does. That would
yeah.
be. Re-
I
and
mean,
where
I'm-
are these?
so
We
they-
never saw Catfight. We only saw videos of Catfight, and he's a psychopath. He
You
would.
gotta be crazy
Oh my
out
gosh!
there.
Well, he would in his videos. He was beating someone up horribly, and he looked at the camera and smiled while just pounding this guy's face. You're like, we didn't know we knew such a psychopath.
A lot of them were in high schools and stuff.
This show will
Like-
probably take place down at what they used to call the Promo West Pavilion, but I believe they
it's
call it
Express Live now.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they
Okay.
also do them at the Hollywood Casino.
Oh really?
And there's other places up in Akron, at the Aladdin Shrine, and some other larger places.
Yeah.
But I believe this would be Central Columbus because I think that guy trains out of a Grove City
Okay.
gym, so they'd want to keep him close to home, sell tickets and all that.
So, have you fought?
Yeah, I fought. I'm done. It's over for me, and the reason why is concussions.
You
I
got a
had-
concussion?
Well,
Multiple
could
I would
concussions?
say
anytime.
a ton of them.
Really?
Over time, and that's bad for my health, obviously.
Yeah.
So it's over for me. But DJ doesn't have a lot of symptoms from what I absolutely believe he's got a history of concussions, no doubt. But he has less of them than I do.
Okay.
And he probably has some life left in him.
Debatable.
Debatable. That's true. That's true. But he has a lot less symptoms. He doesn't have the headaches and the
Yeah.
issues,
And is
That's
this
just 'cause I
chronic
repress
issue?
everything.
Is
It's
it
gotten a lot
still?
better
Since you
because
stopped?
because a 12 to 16 hour fast daily helps a lot with concussions, along with low inflammation vegan diet. Whole
Yeah.
foods plant based diet is key for people that have had that brain trauma, especially because obviously concussions raise your chance of Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, things like that. Anything brain issue, but
Yeah.
those issues are strongly correlated with high fat diets and inactivity. So
okay.
we do workouts that actually are proven to fight these diseases, especially in people that have had brain trauma.
Okay.
High intensity interval training, and then with a fast too. So it
That's the
helps a lot.
hit, right?
Yep. So
Okay,
that's
so
where
that's
the
like
playground
you're
workouts
You're
go in.
jumping, monkey bars. What is it?
It's
basically-
basically like killing yourself and then taking a short break and then killing yourself again.
So
and then you
do-
basically do it until you want to kill yourself.
Yeah, like burpees for 1 minute, then pull-ups for 1 minute, then jump as high as you can for 1 minute,
Yeah.
and then jumping.
Like how kids play in a playground. That's literally how like my 2-year-old plays on a playground. Like he just jumps.
That's wild. We talk so much about how we don't do that stuff, and we stay, fairly fit because we don't.
You know what? To be honest, though, I do play on playgrounds. Like,
Well, yeah,
like
I
when
mean,
no
we're,
one.
we're active throughout our day,
but when no one else
I'm
is at the
never,
playground,
like, my heart rate over 150 is.
I'm doing the monkey bars with my kids all day.
Your inner child comes out.
I'm like definitely showing off, especially to James, my stepson, because like he like thinks he's like big and badass, and I'll be like, oh yeah, check this out, and I'll like climb up something really high, and he's like, all right, I see you, and then like he'll try to do it. It's a real.
Does it go well for him when he tries?
Yeah, no, I usually let. It's within a parameters that he can get, but no, I get down, and I think it's like really fun working out outside more than like working on a gym and like sitting on a bench doing the same repetition for like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, it's definitely more rewarding being out there.
Is this something you guys have like not like patented, but is this DJ Raven workout plan?
Well, I mean,
jiu-jitsu.
well, it kind of is. I mean, we've taken a lot of people out with us on these playground workouts.
I think that like idea is super cool. Like no one else is doing this playground workout.
It's
this like
his
sounds
idea.
fun.
It's his thing. Like he makes up all these workouts. I mean, I obviously piggyback off of because I've worked with different conditioning coaches, so I make recommendations. But overall, it's DJ's like the creative
designer?
person.
That's
a lot of times.
You have to be creative with the equipment and
because it's a playground.
Right. But I mean, a lot of it is body weight, but sometimes it's like all your body weight on one leg or something like that. So I mean, you don't have to be in a gym like cranking out a bunch of heavy weights. I mean, that's good if that's what your goal is, to be able to push heavy weight.
Yeah.
But you guys are like big, not like big, like giant, but like you're definitely like, I guess when you hear that they only use their body weight, like my workout is constantly just like yoga but not, it's more than just yoga, it's like my own body weight, but in my like living room, like, not as intense. So now here comes the African music. Sorry. We're outside, it's literally, in the wild. But I think when people hear, not like that. No. Sorry. When people hear body weight only, I think they don't think you're going to get big muscles. But you guys both have big muscles.
Well, and we'll do some weight resistance training, but we don't really, like when it's nice out, like we would rather be out doing that type of stuff on the playgrounds.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have, when it turns like wintertime, our living room is literally like a little interval training gym. It's not a big space, but we make do. We have like a pull-up bar in there, a dip bar,
nice.
A bunch of free weights, BOSU balls, therapy bands, and all that stuff. So we make it really challenging still, but
it's not as regimented. That's what I like about. I'm not to like toot my own horn, but that's what I like about my workouts is that it's kind of like, I don't know, like what feels good that day. Like, like I did like a bunch of leg stuff today because I was like, I don't know, legs feel good today. Like, let's do it, But it wasn't like Tuesday or Wednesday's leg day, you know?
Yeah, and I definitely agree with, or I think that that's really good to do that type of stuff because you're kind of listening to yourself.
Yeah.
So when people do those regimented things like you said, it's leg day. Well, what if you have a knee injury and you're going to just push through leg day anyway? Like, you could still do leg day, but you would want to like cater it toward healing that thing instead of just,
beating it up.
Right.
Yeah, right. Like, and a lot of times people they need the structure because that's what keeps them.
They need it. Some people need the structure. Jimmy needs the structure. He's on like.
I do all the like videos and stuff like you give me like
YouTube
a
videos
P90X or like some kind of program. I like programs. Right now I'm doing a DDP yoga, the Diamond Dallas Page yoga. Have you ever heard of that?
No, but it sounds sweet.
You know what Diamond Dallas Page is?
Of course.
Yeah. He like hurt his back mid-career, I guess, before he was like the champ a few times, and he was like seriously injured, and they had him doing yoga, but he was like in secret. That wasn't
his
cool.
yoga.
Oh yeah.
We talked about this before on this podcast, but his yoga is like like I wake up in the morning because he does it like right like early in the morning before like the chaos begins of our day, and it'll be like, I want to see Warrior 2. Stretch those
so he
like,
made like
it's the
a
opposite
tough
of
guy yoga plan.
normal.
That's awesome.
So it's like
I didn't even know this existed.
Yeah.
no,
It's
it's check it out. It's pretty cool. I mean, it's not super intense, but like I like the yoga because I have a bad knee, and I'm always working on houses. You're always doing physical things. Like things start to hurt, and like yoga always makes me feel great, but it doesn't always make me feel like I'm
doing a workout,
pushing myself that hard. But now I'm getting both. Like we're riding bikes right now, and a lot, and like my knees feel better than they ever have because I'm
you're
doing
working
yoga.
out your
But if I'm
muscles.
just doing regular yoga every day, I'm just like, I get bored.
That's because I
don't
feel
know.
like
This one's interesting to me. It keeps me into it.
whatever works for you.
Well, and
So-
that's one of the things I was going to say is these high intensity interval workouts, they literally release growth hormone. Like your body will produce the growth hormone, the stuff that people are, buying at GNC and stuff. You can,
Oh, really?
your body will produce all
Is
that
that
you need.
from the spiking of your heart rate, or what? Why is that? You guys really like know your stuff. Like, how does that get released?
Well, I think it's more of like a. Do you?
I feel like you would know this. You have like a medical background. You're a
yeah,
doctor.
but no, but I guess the only thing I'll say is, so when people do endurance training, especially in training that goes, like for example, long distance runners, they're going to release more cortisol, and that cortisol can be associated with the storage of fat, which
Okay.
is the opposite of
Wait,
what we're.
cortisol helps release fat? Is that because
once it's
you're
released-
burning so much energy that your body's like, oh, we need fat to stick around, or what's?
Well, let me think if I can answer your question properly. So, when your body's stressed, it will release that cortisol, and that being said, imagine you're running long distance. That's a stress on your body. Now, you're not running sprints, but you're running 15 miles.
Yeah.
It's highly stressful. Therefore, your body will store fat. That just something to do with the cortisol when it's constantly released into the bloodstream. These patients will typically have a lot higher fat. Now,
The runners, the long distance runners.
yeah, but there's that catch, because once someone's been running consistently over time and literally they're exhausting everything they have, they're not going to have any fat left anyways.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're
So
running
it's
15
like,
miles.
yeah, if you got these people with their 6 packs and they look like, they haven't eaten in a while,
Yeah.
and cutting weight for a fight for like 3 years, it's like, it's a
Clearly.
little bit different. But yeah, as opposed to, this is a total different thing, and it's the same thing that's associated with the people with the brain trauma and how it regulates people's hormones. Changes.
Really?
Yeah, and it's also associated with driving male testosterone level up.
Is
too.
the hit stuff.
Well, the HIIT stuff, and especially some weight training per week. Because, I
Okay.
mean, we're not, like, obsessed with keeping his testosterone up, but he's got really good testosterone. And some people say...
I've got like a
you know,
really good testosterone
yeah.
level.
Well, so people on his rugby
totally
team,
good
they always
testosterone.
tell him, like, this is not going to last, bud. Like, you're an old-timer, like...
I get so
da-da-da-da.
mad when people say that, though, because it's like, this is so stupid, but don't define my health and my vitality and my age dependent on other people's age, because my 33-year-old is different from so-and-so's 33-year-old. Like, I feel like I'm like young and vivacious and vibrant and healthy and like with it. Don't tell me because I'm 33, but because the average 33-year-old is one way that like I have to be this way.
Yeah,
And,
you
like I
gotta
get
look
really
at the
annoyed
status
at that.
quo. You always
They
got
all
to
know-
consider that.
That's all they
Yeah.
know, though.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
I guess.
That's all they know, and they reference what they know.
Yeah.
They can't even... you're not real to them.
Well, those
Yeah.
are
You're
the
like this
statistics they have in the
pedestal.
box, and if you're outside of the box,
It
then
just doesn't even apply.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really annoying.
Yeah, and people just like to credit it to like, oh, you're just like that. Like, oh, you're just.
Oh, your
like,
genes.
you're just,
you just
oh,
must
yeah.
have
you're
great
just,
genes.
you just have good muscles, or like
Yeah. Oh, they
you
always
don't
pull
you don't
that
put
one.
on fat, or
Right.
like nah, like
I got in a lot of trouble because I feel like someone said that to me, and I was like, no, I have a ton of fat people in my family. And my family did not like that comment. But,
Was
but
that
it's
on a-
true. But it's
like
the
we're,
I mean,
we're what we decide to do to ourselves, and people are just they'll look at like I don't know, like we make fun of Coach Cat all the time because he's tried every diet under the sun.
Every
and I'm like,
diet.
how many like in shape friends do you have, and what do they all have in common? And it's like the 4 of us. Like,
Yeah.
we're
Man.
how many of them has he
You know
stuck
what? He's
to?
Yeah.
he's actually thinking about this.
he is.
He is a little bit, because he accepts vegan options.
He
does
troubles
sometimes
me.
order-
he
order-
really.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
worried
he's a
about
food
him.
we can talk
He does have a
about
food
Cat as more like a microcosm of like that type of person. someone who wants it so bad to lose weight, and it will try everything under the sun, but like you said, can't stick with anything. And I guess like if I was in his shoes, or if I wasn't married to Lisa, it might have taken me a lot longer to become a vegan, because I don't like to cook, so I'd just be eating
like
I don't
chicken
know what I'd be
like
eating.
vegan chicken patties.
I don't know what I could get at the grocery store
Yeah.
from the frozen section that's vegan. That's all I'd be living off of.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to cook or want to cook.
And
But
I love Cat. He's one of my favorite people. I wish we could just, if he would just
Get
Well,
him.
we need
embrace
him
it
locked
and do it.
down. We got to get him locked
let's say
down.
like
That's what
literally
has to
lock him in a
happen.
Freaking-
basement.
Has to-
freaking
has to be
detox him.
enforced.
Yeah.
3-4 weeks of straight, like, get his
Yeah.
mind right. He's
He does, and I don't mean to like talk shit about him. He is one of our favorite people too. He's very dear and near to our heart. Like I think he's part of our family. That's why I can talk so much shit about him, because he is. I care about him like immensely, but I do think he has something that a lot of quote unquote Americans or anybody in the world that is just this want an easy out to a very complex problem.
Or even not. Like, think about all the people that are doing like keto and all these things that just seem so much harder than vegan.
Yeah.
And they're just doing it because they want to lose weight.
Yeah.
And it's not working.
Well, and
Or
what's
they
funny
have
is that to me being vegan is easy.
Yeah, that's.
But maybe it's not.
we tell that to
well,
people.
start.
they think they're not submerged in the culture, and they don't know anybody that's vegan, so it's so far removed from anything they can believe. Like they think of
Yeah.
you as like an alien. Like you really are like the weirdest person they know. Because our neighbor guy walks over, and he'll introduce us to other neighbors. He'll be like, "This is DJ and Raven. They're vegan."
Yeah.
They
And
don't
that's it. It's like drop the mic. It's over. They're vegan, and then he's like, "And they're in shape. Oh my god!"
Like, how's this
and then all the
happen?
neighbors don't know what to do, and they're like all uncomfortable. They're like, "So, how long have you
Yeah.
lived here?" And it's
Yeah,
like,
He's awesome because
uh,
he brings us
dude, he's
fresh produce
awesome.
from his church that
Really?
nobody's
Oh,
eating.
nice.
Yeah.
And it's all organic produce.
Yeah.
Like we just were smashing a bunch of kale,
kale
that
before he
brought.
came over. Like at least,
Yeah, I forget too sometimes, because we're when you're vegan, you do kind of seek out like-minded people, so you are in that kind of world. And then when you come across someone, especially like it's usually like an old neighbor or something, and they're just like
What?
their brain explodes a little bit when you try to explain it to them.
Yeah.
But if you don't have like a relationship with them for a long time, it's just like a passing like. There's those crazy people, but
Yeah.
BTW.
even like people that we like, our old neighbor who was over here earlier, Eloise. She's like, I don't know, she's 65, 70.
She could be anywhere from 50 to 100. I have no
She's
idea.
like old black lady. She was our next door neighbor, and she just always makes fun of us for how we eat.
really?
Yeah,
like,
but like
on
in
the
a
regular.
fun way, like just
Yeah.
busting balls.
Yeah, she just
you know?
busts her balls, yeah.
She's an old classic eating American, so she
Yeah.
doesn't know any better.
She
But,
used to tell me to
but like
give.
as the years have gone by, it's been less and less.
It
and
has.
She seems like a little bit more like, oh, you guys
Yeah.
are still alive. Like this.
Time to
isn't a
start cooking her
fad.
meals.
Yeah,
I
she used
know,
to
we
tell
need
me to
to.
give my child a chicken bone when he was teething. She was like, "Just give him a chicken bone," and I was like, "I wouldn't give like my dog a chicken bone. Like, no." She's just old school like that. But
going back to the, we were talking about exercise and then into eating. Like, do you do anything specifically in your diet to build muscle, or does
Yeah.
that just happen?
oh,
I know,
that's a
like,
good question, because you always said that in order, you didn't always say, but that
Before
like
I was
to have
vegan,
build muscle, you need like 7 times as much protein. There's like some ratio.
yeah, I think the weightlifting community, it's like 1 or 2 grams of protein per pound or something, which
And I
It
just
destroys your
it's
kidneys.
an
Yes.
insane
It
amount of
does,
protein.
having
Destroys
too
your
many
kidneys. That
protein.
high protein diet is.
So do you go out of your
very
way to build
hard.
muscle, or you just let it happen? Or does it just happen? Diet wise, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, like we just make sure that we're getting well-rounded meals, and then the workouts, they make that happen for us. As long as we're filling the tank back up afterward, we're not really specifically like, like I gotta crush an extra, 2 cups of beans or something for dinner, like, we
You just eat.
We eat, but we're very consistent. And when he says balanced, we really do like get some type of protein, carbohydrate, vegetable, or fruit with each meal.
Okay.
And for him, since he's a 185-pound walking male of like pretty
Are you calling
dense-
me fat?
Dense.
dense,
Muscle.
a dense guy.
You're literally
that he
me
takes
with
at least
10
4,000
pounds of
calories.
muscles,
Like
stuck to you.
yeah, so he takes a lot of calories, and if he's not provided those calories, that muscle comes off quickly, just because the body will utilize what tissues
That's
there
what,
for calories,
yeah, and
right?
I think that's what, I don't know, like before I was vegan, I worked out a lot. I guess the same that I do now, but different kinds of work. I was lifting weights in a gym and I was putting on muscle, but I was like, had to have my protein shake before and after, and try to eat as much protein all day and avoid carbs and stuff. And it was just such a racket.
It was.
And then now it's like I don't think really that much about I eat good, healthy meals, try to do something active every single day.
Yeah. You know what's really silly is that Jimmy had a screening for life insurance because he bought a motorcycle. And so he was like, immediately, we already got rid of the motorcycle.
Good.
Anyways, he was like, I should get
plans for another one.
I should get some life insurance. And I was like, hell yeah, you should get some life insurance. And so he had to go, and this was like added on
You should
top.
have it anyways.
Yeah,
that
added
Lisa
on
doesn't-
top of like the one you get from like your work or whatever. This is like a real nice one, And so he had to have like a couple health screenings, and he had like I don't know 1 or 2, and the first one he didn't get because the quote was too high because his father had a heart attack. And that like pushed him over, which was kind of bullshit because
It's absolutely bullshit.
he didn't have a heart attack.
So my dad died of a heart attack when he was 58. It was his first heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was
And
incredibly unhealthy. At the time, he was a yo-yo, like we call it keto now. They call it Atkins.
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So he'd lose 100 pounds, put it back on, back and forth, and
So that probably
drinking
wasn't.
and smoking, and so his body was struggling. But
That was hard.
none of it was, because because he
It's
was
not gene related.
any sort of relation,
Right. But anyways, the
Which-
funny part is that the second one is that we looked at the results and Jimmy was like, I think I have low creatine.
this is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. It's really funny. Sorry. I think I have low creatine.
Creatine!
Well,
That's
we
what it
looked.
said, and I was like,
it
what?
said
It was
it
like
on there.
This whole
Creatinine or
wheel
whatever.
of all these different tests. It was a blood test, all this stuff, and I'm like, it was kind of neat to look at all this stuff.
And it was like
And,
low creatine and low protein. And we were like, I was like,
was the
oh
only,
my
like-
goodness.
Thing that wasn't in green, it was
Yeah,
in,
it was in, like, the yellow.
like in the yellow zone.
Anyway, so I'm like, oh my goodness, like what is this? And so for like a week or two, I ordered creatine, vegan creatine.
Oh, God.
Right. So he starts taking it, and then I go to my parents' house, and both my parents are in the medical profession, so they like know what they're talking about. And I was like, hey, Jimmy had low creatine from his test, and they were like, no, you can't check creatine. What are you talking about, Lisa? And I was like, yeah. He said he had low creatine because he has low protein. And they were like, no. First of all, it's creatine. It's not the same thing at all. Like, it's in the same realm, but it's not the same. And it had to do with, like, my dad was like, did he, like, have an extra glass of water that day? Did he, like, not fast? Like, my dad was like, that's the stupidest thing. Like, these blood tests are not, like, definitive by any means. Like whatever you thought he has, it's not it. Like
it was
he's
just
fine.
weird to see that. Like, well, it was 2 tests.
And then my dad was like,
different
he was like, he's
times.
not taking creatine. And I was like, no, we're
no.
not. He's not. Even though like we had been taking it for a week because
Well,
we
you
thought he
get
had
it,
low
like,
creatine.
I was like, I'll try this. Then I was like, no, this is stupid. Because before I was vegan, like that's what you did. You
Yeah, you
did the
creatine.
creatine.
That's what
you did
everybody
a
did.
pre-workout. You did. You know.
We're the same age, so that's that era. Everybody was doing that in high school.
Oh yeah.
I think
they're
had
putting it
my,
in like drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you could buy like a what was it? Remember Sobeys?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like a big glass
It had the
bottle.
lizard on it.
Yeah. They had
Yeah.
like a creatine version.
Oh, God.
So, and I had like a container of creatine that I ended up throwing it away, but I had it like it was in my cabinet all the way like through college, and I got
The
one
same
can in high school, and I had it like all the way through college. I'm like, why the hell am I still keeping this thing?
Because it was expensive, probably. That stuff was expensive.
Yeah.
The
But-
vegan one was expensive.
But I mean, like I said, I see like these, athletes and people I follow a lot of people on Instagram that are, in shape and stuff, and I don't know. I'm not trying to be like a bodybuilder, but sometimes I wish I had more muscle on me. But I think it's just because I don't know. I don't have as much as I used to, but it's because I'm not doing a lot of resistance workouts.
Yes.
I'm not tearing muscles or anything. Everything I do physical now is riding bikes or
yeah.
You
working
guys
out
should
of
meet us for
house
a
or-
playground workout.
I
They're-
would
I
love
think-
to.
They're
I'm
they're
interested.
intense and they suck when they're happening, but you feel great afterward.
No,
I mean,
I like that.
You might be sore, but
Yeah.
but you're gonna you feel like this sense of accomplishment because you just put yourself through a real shitty time.
Yeah.
And then like afterward, you're like, oh, I'm super glad that's over, and the rest of your day's like great.
Yeah.
Well,
so is that what, like, if we were like, what builds muscle? What is it? You know?
we would
Resistance
highly
workouts.
recommend that.
Yeah, at least a couple times a week doing those types of workouts.
But
Just-
they have to push you to a level of that most people just aren't trained to.
Failure.
Go to.
Yeah, and that's the key. Like,
But it's
most
failure
people are
to
gonna
each
quit
person's
Yeah,
level.
but most people, they quit way too early.
Okay.
Like, literally, a good way to think about it is, you stop doing pull-ups when someone has a gun to your head and they're gonna, like, literally what I tell myself, and everybody has their own tactics. This is my tactic. Either if I'm running a sprint, someone's running after me with a gun or a knife, and
Yeah.
if they catch me, it's over.
Yeah.
That's how fast I'm going. Or if I'm like doing a pull-up or something challenging, if you quit, they're gonna kill you.
Right.
Like, they're literally, like, there is a gun to your head. If you don't get
Do it.
14 pull-ups, they're gonna kill your
You
mom.
can do-
or something. And
You can
and
do
and
14
suddenly,
pull-ups?
Like,
How
my
many-
record's 16, but that hasn't happened in a while.
It's
So
in 1 minute.
they're in
Oh,
1
man.
minute intervals, so you get
Okay.
We
time.
do a lot of just 1 minute intervals, but we change up the times of the intervals sometimes.
Yeah.
Like
But how long is this? The whole workout?
the max
24 minutes of actual
Yeah.
work is like our long ones that we do.
That, you guys, you are on a gold mine right now. Like 24 minutes of actual working out.
With
but 20-second
20-second
rest
breaks
in
between.
between. So
But
it's 34
still,
minutes
that's-
of, like,
and then you have a 10-minute warm up, 10-minute cool down, 10-minute stretch.
which
Yeah,
we'd
but
like to
that's-
increase the stretch, and we do at times. But if someone's joining us,
So
or if
all
we do,
this
like,
happens in under an hour.
Yeah.
It's
usually
it
hour to
goes
70
slightly
minutes
over.
at most.
Yeah.
Then you can go into shower mode and snack
Yeah.
and all that. But, like, a lot of this is like for, like, busy people with real lives, screaming
Which
kids.
most people are.
Right.
That's
So
why
you-
I work out 20 minutes a day. I got 20 minutes a day plus I'm active in other aspects. Like,
Yeah,
like
everywhere we
such.
go, we ride a bike. with the
Right, or I
kids
walk
on
my
it.
dog like 2 to 3 miles a day, like
Yeah, you're
regardless
getting a lot
and
of
stuff. But it's
active.
but I like that active person because that's realistic. You
Uh-huh.
know,
It's functional.
it's very
It's not very functional to take an hour of your time and go to a playground and do it. But you can do it while your kids are playing, as long as
Yes.
you can make sure there's no creepers.
Oh, we've-
Yeah.
And we've had some parents giving us like.
I say, yeah, they may think you're the creepers.
Well,
Yeah,
their
well,
kid-
technically
their
we
kids
are.
Typically, like the kids are typically like watching us, like so fascinated and stuff. And
I'm
it's
sure.
like this is probably
Sometimes
great
they
for them
join
to see
us.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have like little kids that'll be doing stuff with us, and their parents are like, whatever.
Some of the
And then-
parents are happy.
Yeah, and then like when she was training for women's nationals, we were doing some or no, this was when you were
Boxing.
training for your MMA match.
okay.
I don't remember, but
Wait,
something with
women's
fighting.
nationals. Were you at like a competitive level? What kind of level? Where are we talking about?
I was trying to
go
get
the
the Olympic spot. I was trying.
You were?
I lost to the
boxing?
girl. I lost to the girl that represented Team USA.
What?
And I couldn't beat her. I mean, I was going to beat her that time, and maybe if I go back and box her again, but.
Yeah.
It just cost so much money and it put so much stress on our marriage, and
Right.
it also causes me not to have a period for 14 months. So
That's-
She was
it's a
cutting
lot
weight.
of
Oh,
a lot
man.
of stress on the body,
Yeah.
and
I
a
can
lot of stress on the
imagine.
marriage because he's
But-
got to support me.
Olympic level?
Well, I didn't make it, but that's
but
what
you
I
were
wanted.
runner up to the
I was-
Olympic level?
She probably was like right at, well if there was a placing which they didn't do like a finals and semifinals for this tournament, like she probably would have been I would say
Well,
like I would say she would have fell into 7th place, but she didn't get to go back in because it wasn't like a
I took
like
You
third,
just one
and
and
then
done?
I didn't get to go for second. And if I wanted to
that's
go
what
for
it was, yeah.
no, I took third. I took bronze, and then I was like so depressed and upset. I went into like a depression for I get to say about a year and a half because it's like hard
It's
to take a
too
loss when
much.
you're not like used to losing.
Oh, man.
So you just like get used to it or whatever. But like I could have went back and boxed that girl, and maybe I would have won, maybe I wouldn't. I have a lot better chance the second time.
Yeah.
Because she had film on me, and she also didn't have to weigh in. I had to cut weight more
They were
than
like USA Boxing.
it's
was-
very
they-
scammy.
They had invested in this lady
Yeah.
over the
Okay.
last several years. 'cause
Yeah.
she was
So they
representing-
wanted her to
Yeah,
win.
I mean,
Man,
so
that's
they
crazy.
kind of just like made it easier for her to like.
Why
like
didn't
they
she
were-
have to
didn't
weigh
have to
in?
weigh in
Why
because
not?
because she's made weight all her other tournaments and she's like the go-to. So I had to make weight and I had to hold my weight. So imagine I've already been starved out
several
for
days
2
in a
months
row.
straight,
Yeah.
and I'm like at 12 pounds lighter than my normal walking, and I'm literally
That's
like a
fine.
male version of my body.
Yeah.
And I've got a 6-pack. I'm more ripped than he is. And you go into this delusional psycho state. You're like, I got to win this fight. Like, it's life or death.
Well, I get very angry when I'm hungry, too.
Well, I guess it works to the benefit of the fight, but like...
And I don't know if you guys know what standing 8 counts are in boxing. But
standing
it's like
8 counts?
It's like they do it in amateur boxing. So if you look like you're taking a lot of damage, the referee will back the person up and start counting like as if you were knocked down in a professional.
If you're like
concussed,
woozy,
well, but the referee kept separating
doing that
them,
to you,
and she was like,
"You're like, I'm fine."
Well, they
I'm
were
like,
separating
I'm to get
her.
my punches off.
They were separating her while she was returning punches, and then he separated her. And it happened like at least twice in that match. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like,
it was scammy, but I mean,
too much ref involvement.
But she had better footwork than I did. I had more power, but they wouldn't let me get her on the ropes.
She was getting her punches off, but they weren't hurting you at all.
They weren't concussing me at all, so I was totally fine. And most girls were, well, I was cutting down from 24, and I was at 12. So, like most girls, when they take her punches, they're not doing well. But I was not playing. I was not playing. Well, I knew I was going to be fighting somebody that was good, but this girl was not as big as the guys I fight, and those punches. Well, in the gym, but the punches hurt. But you know you're okay when they hurt and you're not concussed. Because if you don't know where you're at and you're kind of like, whoa, then you know it's...
You probably,
if you feel the punches coming in and they hurt, that's a good sign because you're still with it. You're like, that one sucked. All right, another one's coming in, you know, like...
But I've
like,
never...
It's the way of the...
You've never been punched.
I've
been punched like I don't even know if I've ever really been punched.
I've never been like
relate that you can kind of relate that to those interval workouts too, though, because like there's like different levels you can put your mind through, and after you do so many of them, you start to realize like I can do better than this, like because you'll go through periods where like maybe he'll have a bad attitude or I will too, and like you're not pushing it.
Yeah.
Like you knew you could do 24 burpees and you did 20, and you still were tired, but you were dogging it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you get to
gotta get a little pushed.
You have to get reality checks here.
Do you guys push each other?
I think
like
so.
do you yell at each other? I yell at him.
I mean,
like like what I feel like whenever
sometimes.
we've worked out, I've like trying to like egged him on.
Yeah.
When he eggs me
Been a
on, I'm
long
like,
time.
shut it down. Don't even talk to me. Whatever I'm doing is fine. You know.
Yeah.
We don't really like push each other than just us both being there, and I think that like
just the support of you both committed to this.
Yeah, and like I get angry during these types of workouts a lot because I know I'm gonna like it's only because that's what pushes me through it, because I'll be like, if I get mad, like I like Hulk out, like like
he really does.
Things change like
until he's mad, he's like dogging it, so it's fine. I'm just like, whatever, get mad,
and
whatever
I'll
it
get
takes.
mad if I can't get all the repetitions that I want or something like that, or if I'm like,
you go in with a goal, like I'm gonna do this many burpees. I always thought they're blurpees.
Blurpees.
Maybe there's such a thing as blurpees. Maybe
apparently
I've only heard burpees.
We called them squat thrusts when I was in high.
Maybe
school.
squat thrusts
Blurpee.
with the push-up involved.
I think the squat thrust, the difference is you don't do the push-up at the bottom.
It is.
Okay.
It's a push-up.
Yeah, there's a
squat.
A burpee has a push-up in it.
Squat like to standing, jumping up, back down. Right. That's it. Is there anything else involved in it?
With the burpee?
Yeah.
I think you covered everything.
It's
but like ideally, you want to like explode from the bottom.
Yeah. But you also want to explode from your plank to your squat, right?
Yep.
Sounds
if
terrible.
you have it in you.
Yeah. Well,
not just like a step up.
Yes, like we don't really work out like. I mean, I play hockey.
But you could,
and
you're
stuff,
interested.
And yeah, I'm interested.
I
but
do like a couple like squat
in
jumps.
competitive stuff. Like actually, like I can get into it, but I don't know. I mean, I used to all the time.
You know what? It is an
it's
important aspect to have, though, because like
you
used
to
do
mentally too. Like you said, like taking yourself to a different level that, you know,
pushing yourself.
Yeah, where if you're like
you
aside
get
from
complacent.
Workouts, your life can get very comfortable too.
And you get in a rut.
And we're trying. Like Lisa pushes me in life, and I like comfort in life. Like I like a consistent, you know, income and my job and everything. And now I'm like, I want to quit my job. I want to try something like, you know, exciting and take chances. But I think like athletically, it's kind of the same thing.
But this can translate to that, because I'm a very strong believer in people that are doing these workouts and they do push themselves. You know you're better. You know what you can do, and you're confident.
Yeah.
So, for example, I believe it was shortly after I had competed in the women's nationals, after I kind of came out of my pretty bad depression or whatever. Obviously, I have a nice husband who helped me through, but there's only so much you can tell.
Sounds like a long time.
Yeah. So anyways, I gained confidence in knowing, like, I tried my best. I did well. I didn't win, but I competed on a very high level regardless. And then I turned right around and I said, you know what? I'm going to go to my boss and I'm going to ask for, at that time, I think it was like a $7 raise. And I'm like, you know why? Because I'm worth it. I work circles around people. I try my best. I bend over backwards for patients. And what happened? I got the raise. Every person I talked to about it said, you'll never get it.
Yeah.
They laughed at me. I said, you know what? The same thing. They told me the same thing with the boxing. They said, you'll never get it. They'll never take you seriously. You're white and you'll never make it. And I said, you know what?
Is it black
we were
dominated?
training in a lot of
Well, it's all black and Mexicans, right?
Oh, okay.
Because I mean, they're slicker. They have the background. I mean,
Yeah.
the girl I was fighting was from that Spanish and Mexican background. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I brought a Mexican coach. I wasn't playing.
Yeah.
I'm not training in an all white gym somewhere. I'm training with them too.
The people in this
I'm the only white person in the gym, and I'm called white girl. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's like you just have to gain your confidence, and you gain that through these hard workouts or through these times of trouble, and it does push you. So these workouts actually could push you.
You do need to push you.
It
This is inspiring.
I'm serious. I'm serious.
And that's where I think part of that growth hormone comes from, because your brain gets into a place where it's like, I don't know if it's like a survival mode or it's something like that, where it's like, I gotta start producing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. Evolutionary speaking,
And-
Yeah.
and then that's what triggers that, that stuff that people are buying in GNC.
And how do you know that this how have you heard that this growth hormone is released during this? Like, how do we know this?
I think we listened to a lecture on this. When was it?
I can't remember.
That's really fascinating.
It's definitely.
And
there's
is it?
definitely-
Can you feel it come out? How do you know?
Well,
you know.
I don't really feel it.
You're like, I am more than human right now. You know.
But I think that it kind of ties into that confidence after the workout too, because then you're just
you feel good. It's like more than a runner's high. It's like,
It is.
come at me, bro.
Definitely is.
Yeah, because it's like you've worked through situations that were so hard, and I guess it's just kind of like I have a niece right now that came from an abusive home, and she's tough.
Yeah.
My mom was complaining because nothing phases her. She's taken everything away from her, and nothing breaks her.
Yeah.
I said, I had to tell my mom, I was like, listen, Sierra's been through more than most of us can imagine.
Yeah.
Most likely she's been molested beyond belief. She's been starved. She's lived with bed bugs. She's lived with everything. She's been through everything, and nothing phases her. She's literally the toughest person I know at age 12.
Yeah.
So what can you take from her?
Yeah.
So what can
Yeah.
you take from these people that do these insane workouts? And you're like, oh, well, they're pretty tough
Yeah.
afterwards, and you gain some mental confidence.
Yeah.
We highly recommend it for people.
Yeah.
The problem is it causes respiratory acidosis, so it makes you feel nauseous, and people don't like to feel nauseous.
Is that temporary though? Right?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
just
Like
like
less than
you're
40
working
minutes.
out? You're
When
gonna
I
throw
did,
up.
so
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
we used to do these workouts at System of Strength.
A girl on the Real Housewives of something just was doing a workout and she threw up.
Yes.
Oh, really?
That's what we're talking
I
about.
never felt nauseous, but I would get
The
my
ear
ears
thing.
would pop.
That's
And
you
I
and
couldn't
Margo.
hear after the workout for like a half hour.
Why
Yeah, it's
is
like you're
that?
talking in a helmet.
Yeah.
No,
It was very
That
strange.
happens to me too.
It
I think it's just from breathing so hard. It does something
strain
like
really
pops
hard.
your. I don't think it pops your eardrum. or
Yeah,
something,
it was
but I
like
think
they
does
needed
something where-
to clear.
I don't know if it's just like
And then
an
it goes away
inflamed-
after like a half an hour after you're done.
Yeah, it was weird. It happens to me with
That just-
hockey sometimes too.
That happened to me yesterday.
It's
Yeah.
such a strange thing.
It
Yeah,
only
we used to do these intense workouts at this place called System of Strength, which is really like a cool gym in Columbus. And it's funny because I went there like at their inception. Like I was there I think literally like the first week
we were
they
like
opened.
a little garage.
It was in
off
a
of Fifth
garage
Ave.
in Fifth Avenue, and now they have like 5 or 6 locations. They're like moving to like Cincinnati, and like they've got like
Well,
a
they do,
ton of
like,
franchises.
I don't
They
know,
do
like-
interval training there.
Yeah,
They
and they do like
the
outdoor
control
stuff too.
class.
You see them.
Do you guys
on,
have you
at
ever
the-
heard of a guy named Hammer? He was you know Hammer. He was in the
Like-
he was in the legit. He was into fighting. He was on that.
You know Hammer.
Matt.
I think that was his name.
He's got
You could say
reddish
his name.
colored hair.
Yes. So Hammer used to run the control classes at System of Strength, and I loved his classes. He was crazy, but he was like
Does he have crazy hair too?
Yeah. Well, he used to scream at us. It was Sunday morning. And this is back when System of the Strength was really like a small town, a small thing. He doesn't work for them anymore. But control class was basically like intervals of like 45 seconds doing like something and then a 15-second break. And then it was like a control class. Like you'd go around to the stations.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But anyways, like I remember, like I loved.
That's kind of like our playground workout.
Okay, yeah, I loved for he was good. He used to yell. It was on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and he would be like, "Are you guys going to church today? That's where I am. I'm in my church right now." Like,
That's hilarious.
He's such a turd.
yeah, he was real intense, but it was good. And like afterwards, like we'd decompress and he'd talk about it. He was good. I don't know. I haven't seen him or heard. Like I
don't
worked
even know
out there
when the last
long
time
ago,
we
but
seen him was.
Anger Fist Anderson.
So when's the
Anger
next?
Fist
Oh.
That's fun.
Am I talking about the same person? We're not talking about Matt Lanning.
Hammer.
Hammer.
I don't know, but I know he was a fighter.
Matt Lanning? Hammer?
No.
Who
When's
talking
the
about
next
Matt Lanning.
playground workout?
Yeah,
We're at playgrounds every day.
I do. I go to
So you
playgrounds
definitely
quite
have
often.
You're readily accessible. You just gotta
Yeah.
watch the kids for creepers, and
Well,
then like other
yeah.
than that, you're good.
Bob's
Yeah.
fine. Max, he'd have to crawl around us a little bit.
You
but
guys could do
But
it.
you
like,
guys could do breaks. Like you could go
Yeah.
on like a 90-second go, and then you could
And then
go
on 'em.
I
on.
love breaks.
So, but they'd be longer. They would be
Right.
longer breaks, but it'd be something. And that's
Yeah.
what I say. You got two parents.
Yeah.
You got opportunity to bust something out right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, what we've done now on the weekends is we have these front seats on our bikes, so we ride downtown every weekend. We get
We
5,
try.
6, 7 miles each
With
way.
no kids or.
No,
with
with
the
the
kids.
kids.
With the
Oh.
kids. So they
Yeah,
sit
that's
on
that's
the
why we
front of
love
the
it
bike.
because any workout that you can do with your children,
And they love
we're
it.
also using it as a mode of transportation. Like it's great for
Perfect.
us. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we
But it
did
is hard
like
with
30
them.
miles last weekend.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
but it's funny though because I think we were really at a standstill with our working out for a while. We got a little complacent and like comfortable in like what we were doing, and then we started biking like a lot. And Jimmy and I both were like, "This is fun. It's fun, and we're going somewhere, and our kids are involved. Like it's like everything together. We love it." But we would go up hills, like really like giant hills. That's just a part of biking. And when we first started, these hills were so treacherous. Like it was like we'd get to the top and be like, Bob, my 2-year-old used to make fun of me. Like he'd be on my bike being like,
Yeah,
like,
'cause you're,
oh my
you're
God.
carrying
Yeah.
30,
That's messed up.
Yeah.
But funny.
20, 30 more pounds than you normally would be.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
But
weight
it's
to strength ratio is off.
yeah, but it's funny because after we started biking around, I don't know, maybe like June, mid-July or something. But now
too long.
we go up these hills and we're like having a conversation the whole way up, and we're like, well, we need to do something else. Like
Yeah.
we've covered this.
plateau
Like
is what you
yeah,
call it.
like we're fine going up these hills.
Yeah.
Well, and the good thing is that when those are challenging you and you're getting out of breath, that's a lot of people are afraid to get out of that comfort zone where
Yeah.
they're out of breath. And you gotta get out of breath in a workout. I don't care what it is you're doing. You
Yeah.
gotta make yourself out of breath.
That's a really good rule. You got to get out of breath.
It's been
Well,
a-
our conditioning coach used to say, if you can say your name or state like your date of birth in the first 30 seconds after you stop, you didn't work out hard enough.
That's
He's like, I want you to the point where you're in your delusional, you don't know where
Yeah.
you're at. He's like, I'll tell you where to go. You don't think, I'll tell you where to go. And you just like wander around the gym. You're like,
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on right now. He's like, I want you so out of breath. If you were to try to take a drink, it would spray out of your mouth because there's no way that you
don't
could take
know.
the time to
yeah.
drink. Like
That's intense.
it's very intense, but it
intense.
puts things into perspective.
It
You know, when it comes to competition level,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
when it's
competition
where they
level, yeah.
want
It's
you.
not the whole time, and I think
Right.
that's what's what's that called, like shocking or scary for people, is they think like, well, I don't want to be like hurting for an hour or an hour and a half, but like you guys aren't. You said like 24 minutes of like the hard workout.
Yeah.
We all can do that.
Yeah.
we all can
Right.
do 24 minutes, and it's to your ability, I think, which is like really
Your
cool.
own
I'd say
personal
you guys
ability.
are on a gold mine. You should like
That's what that
Patent-
trainer used to say to us
patent
too.
this.
He'd be you got 30 seconds. You can do anything for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And DJ
So,
still yells
So
that,
I
and I
still
get
yell
super
that. Like
pissed
when I was
off.
going over at West and training with the wrestlers over there, like I'd put them through interval workouts after our open mats on Sundays,
Yeah.
and I would be yelling at them during those interval workouts. You can do anything for 30
Uh-huh.
seconds.
It's true. I mean, I think me and my DVDs, but they used to say a lot in the Insanity one.
That-
Have you ever done? What was that guy's name? But the Insanity.
I know what you're talking about.
We know what you're
but
talking
they
about.
killed my legs though. But some stuff you got to be very careful in, and you got to work your way up to it. And,
Right.
And but
Well, and that's what it
Jumping.
is. It's take it at your own pace, but make that pace as hard as you can.
yeah, I mean, I'm very interested. I'm glad we had this conversation because we often talk about how you don't have to do that. You don't
Yeah.
to stay
To
somewhat healthy.
maintain.
Yeah.
But
But-
you guys
but-
are.
But if you want to be next level,
Yeah, I wanna
like,
push
you've
myself to the next
You said you want
level.
to put some muscle on.
Yeah, I
well,
wanna
we
put
got to
muscle
stress your
on.
body out.
I want to be
Short
better
term.
at playing ice hockey. I want to, I mean, we're vegan and we do this podcast mostly because we're obsessed with, how healthy it makes us and how
How
good
great
we
we feel.
all the time. But I think we got really good at just,
Complacent.
our level. Yeah, we plateaued essentially.
Next
just-
level. We take it up a
So
notch.
I'm excited. I'm glad we have this conversation because
Yeah.
I've been trying. I want to push myself, and the kids are getting a little bit older, and we can now. So
A little bit
Sometimes
older. We have a 1-year-old.
maybe I'll do
Like, what are you
2
talking
yoga programs
You're
tomorrow
like,
morning.
Kids are getting a little bit older.
Well, no.
Shell of the house.
Older
they're
than 0.
they're
Yeah.
1.
Well,
Like,
you don't
I'm
have
still-
to hold them every
I'm
single
still
second of
waiting
every
for
day.
Max to want to watch TV. Like he doesn't want to watch TV.
He's just like, watch the show. Watch the
He
show.
was not interested. But I want to talk to you guys real quick about your food. So you said that you have a pretty regimented, not regimented, but you definitely make sure you get certain things in your diet. Like what are your go-to meals? I guess where I was actually just doing our meal plan for next week, and I'm trying to figure it out. But what's in a normal week's household meal plan?
So several times a week, ideally, we eat some type of cruciferous vegetable, and usually it's a mix.
Okay.
Whether it be chopped cabbage, chopped broccoli, cauliflower, things like that. A lot of it's cold prep. We try not to cook a lot of stuff because a lot of it's grab and go. We're pretty busy. We work at least 68 hours with his business, and I work full-time dentistry. So
And our Hocking Hills rentals that we're working on.
yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we got that going on, so that's kind of rough. But so we basically it's quick meals. So sometimes it's a mix of, I'd say half the time, it's a mix of I'll buy a 6-serving container of greens, mixed greens. I'll lay that on 2 big plates, a big bed of that, and then I'll take some type of protein, which typically is some type of bean or lentil, and I'll spice them, and I'll heat them up on little pan, make almost like a little bean dip, and I'll place it all on top of those vegetables, cold prep vegetables, and almost make it like a dressing, but it's kind of like a bean dip-ish.
Okay.
And then I'll take some type of carbohydrate and usually flavor that, whether it be barley, millet, rice. Sometimes we utilize tempeh, but kind of is both a carbohydrate as well as a protein, and put it on there. And then I'll take some type of dressing, like a homemade dressing I make, and just put it on top, flavor it. It's good. It's
Super
probably
easy dressing to make
super
too.
easy.
Yeah.
So that tonight,
Like a boot, we would call that a Buddha bowl. We use
Yeah,
those a lot.
yeah.
I think that's I don't think that word
That
describes.
sounds pretty similar to
What it, it's
kinda-
like a grain
Yeah.
and a protein and a green and a sauce.
yes. And then tonight, DJ does a lot of homemade soups.
Okay.
So DJ dated a
Okay.
woman who specialized in soups, and I'm like, all
Really?
right, great.
We had soup day Sunday. Wait, no, that was my ex-husband. but
We're both on that topic.
soup day Sunday was my favorite thing. Is that every Sunday I did a really cool soup.
Huh?
Yeah, it was soup day Sunday.
That's kind of cool.
down with it now.
Yeah.
DJ made a homemade
Works
soup,
in the
and then
wintertime.
We've got a potato soup going when we get home that's already been prepped. We always try to
calories.
prep out
There's
3 days worth
calories.
of food.
It's potatoes, celery, carrots, cabbage, onions, and we added split peas to it, just as per.
Love split peas.
Just kind of as per, to make sure. I eat about a cup of our split peas or lentils or beans. That's my portion.
Yeah.
And then, because we're pretty good with portion control too. That's
Yeah.
another thing.
That's very
We
important.
are not.
Yeah, no, we are. I think it comes inherently more so. Like,
I am not.
Oh, maybe you're not. I guess.
I'll eat and then I'll be like, I'm done, and then I'll be like, oh, look, everyone else is still eating.
back.
And I'll eat a little bit more, and then it's like, oh, it's time to clean the
Oh.
kitchen. Oh, I'm putting this in a Tupperware. Oh, I can't just leave that. And then,
I can't just
It's like
leave
me
it.
me at the old banana leaf buffet. That's what I was doing there.
Just hanging
Well,
out.
I mean, but I think like we talk about this all the time, but like being a vegan, the portion control is important, but it's not as important as,
That's
you're not
absolutely
going
true.
back and eating 3 slices of pizza
yeah,
or
I'm
something,
scoring a couple extra pieces of broccoli.
Yeah, like it's okay.
yeah, right.
Slathering some more cholesterol in those arteries.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Well, that's one of the things like I was coming back to because when I was talking about like healing up and stuff is because being on this plant-based diet will it gives you that optimal circulatory system function. Because it's like you're not coating your veins and arteries with that little waxy fats. Like you're cleaning those out, so you're getting optimal circulation, which means everything is working
Don't you
better.
feel like your body, like when you became vegan, like that your body was just like, thank you, yes, this is what I want to be.
He lost a lot of body fat, so people would say things to him about, like, he did lose a little bit of mass, as in, like, on the scale maybe.
Yeah.
But he looks
But
a lot
more
leaner.
ripped.
And me, since then I have a lot more defined abs.
Yeah.
Because I lose my body fat, and thankfully my breast size went down as well, which I'm totally okay with. He's cool with too, so that works out.
My
But
breast, maybe I should start eating dairy.
they will plump up. They will plump up.
kidding.
That's why yeah.
Well, it makes sense that they would
Yeah.
plump up with like hormone injected
Yeah.
breast milk.
Yeah.
And my brother-in-law is a police officer, and he decided to go vegan a couple years ago. And it's funny because his wife is keto, so they.
But she does like vegan too.
Yeah, but they live this life of like the two different things. But anyways, he was talking about that. Like he works out hardcore, and he's a pretty big dude. And
And he
said
used to
that,
be
like,
very overweight.
they used to kind of call him out on that. But in the in the police force, there's a lot of
Overweight.
yeah, overweight. But there's a lot of like challenges and stuff, and they do test you, and you can.
Oh yeah.
You have to prove
Like, show
yourself, and I guess they test body fat a lot, and for a while they were kind of picking on him, like, oh, the vegan, and now he's like, I have the lowest body fat on the force.
He
and
does?
he's like, I'm in the best shape of anyone on the force.
Oh
So
my
then
gosh, good for him.
That's pretty cool.
yeah, he's coming in on 2 years, and like
Yeah.
it's just funny because I can't imagine. I'm a teacher. I'm in a maybe a little bit more accepting world, but being in a
police
sitting around
officer.
with a bunch of cops,
Yeah.
trying to be the tough guy
But
that is a vegan.
He's
but,
the best example of what we would want representing us in cops.
Oh, absolutely.
Is
or
it
in
like
anything, like the the unexpected vegan.
super
I guess,
in shape?
Like you kick some pastor's ass.
Yeah. Hopefully. We hope.
with a vegan shirt on.
Yeah, but we're gonna serve him some vegan literature afterwards as well, and then hey, deserves to know the truth.
That's really funny.
It's spreading.
Speak
It's
the
spreading
truth.
more every day.
Speak the truth.
Well, that movie's came out this week, I guess.
It did?
The
The
athletic
yeah.
one.
Oh,
Is that the
yeah,
Schwarzenegger?
Game Changers. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I haven't seen it, but
We should go see it.
think
It's
that's-
available at the Linux.
We have a babysitter Saturday. We should
For
go
a
out or just
movie?
go watch a movie.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
That's kind of difficult. And sorry about the plane overhead.
Yeah. Well, let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
That's good.
I feel
We're
like
not
I
Joe
had-
Rogan. We don't do like 3 hours.
Yeah, sorry. I feel like I had another question. No. Okay. All right.
But we
we'll
should do this again because there's a lot more I wanted to talk to you
I
guys about.
want to talk to you guys about your
Hocking Hills thing and stuff. And
Yeah, my dad has land down there.
Huh.
Where are you guys?
Laurelville.
Okay, he's off Cliff Road, like in the hills.
Okay.
Like he's like.
Yeah, I don't know what is Cliff Road off of?
He's like 8 miles from Old Man's Cave.
okay.
I don't know.
So closer to Logan, I believe.
Yeah, he's closer
Yeah.
to Logan.
We are, I believe, southeast of his location.
Okay.
And 2.3 miles outside of Laurelville. It's kind of like up a ridge there, and we have
The upper
property.
ridge? Okay.
It's like a very high point on the property and a very low point in the property, and we've got about a half-mile long driveway that goes back there, and we've got a 6-bedroom, 3-bathroom house that we're trying to renovate, but we wanted to make it like
Wow.
a vegan retreat or somewhere people can go to like
Yes.
get weaned. But
We
this
can
is a
put
big.
them through shitty workouts.
Well,
Yeah.
put them
Yeah.
through
Feed 'em
workouts
great
and
food,
stuff.
Guys,
and they
this
can
is not-
meditate there.
Hey,
on the-
we
Blindfold so they
renovate
don't know how to
houses.
escape.
Like that's what we do.
Well, you build stuff too, probably. better than I
Yeah.
do, but-
That's cool. Okay, we'll talk off so people don't get our secrets. Okay, well, but this was good. Where are we? Yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll I think we're done. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, what's your business?
You should. Yeah, I feel like we should shout you guys
Do you guys
out.
need, like-
Sculpt Decor.
Yeah.
What is this?
Sculpt Decor. It's my personal sculpture business. And Raven helps me run it a lot. She's the art production manager, and she's also an artist for it too. But I basically tell people that I can make anything out of anything, and
You do. You make like sculptures out of like wood and ice, right?
Yep. And I also build animatronics, custom public art displays.
My
like-
son's terrified of it.
Oh,
The
really?
the
Halloween guys that
No,
you have right now?
it's
The
not.
pumpkins.
It's not the pumpkin that moves. No, he's terrified of like. There's like a monkey that he's like terrified of. It doesn't even move.
big-
It just
the
sits
little
there.
wood one.
Yeah, I don't. It's not. It's not really scary. He's just really like, mommy, like
Yeah,
this
that,
is too
that
much.
wood carving. It's just it's a monkey that's just meditating.
Yeah, and I don't.
Well,
I
you
don't
said
know
at
why.
the beginning, if you're
Come here, Stan.
listening to this and you're from Columbus, like you guys are always at the vegan things.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
we
set
didn't
up
get to talk
with
about
the-
your involvement in Columbus Veg Community.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys are. You're like in there.
Yeah, we're
Yep.
very passionate about that because it's a very
It's a good community.
It's a good community, and it's what the director defines as trying to make veganism. Trying veganism is the most fun, friendly, accessible to everybody, no matter where you're at,
That's
without being a
great.
screamer, preacher,
Yes.
whatever. We meet you where you're at, and then we, she'll kind of give us people to work with, and we meet people at events, and
We're
you know,
health coaches for them.
so we
That's-
take
Oh,
them grocery
nice.
shopping, bring
That's
them into
awesome.
the house, cook with them, and then put them through
Oh, wow.
workouts, and then we follow up with them. And we had we probably been through at least I'd say at least 60 people, and I'd say at least half of them have stuck with it for the most part. So it's pretty effective.
Wow.
That's
it's
awesome.
the personal approach is what I think gets people.
Yeah.
and us
Just like walking them through the process.
pretty much, but like we're encouraging them to learn on their own, obviously, but there's
Yeah.
so much information out there. They kind of like need a push, and I also think sometimes they just want to know that there's other like sort of what they define as normal people doing
Yeah.
it. It's not some psycho that lives in a basement.
Yeah.
and
You know,
it's-
like
and it's
so they just
something-
want to know, like,
I think
oh,
that's really
this
important.
person's employed. This person's
Psycho
not
is relative to who
Not
is
just
taking
wearing
the
like
judgment.
hemp necklaces.
Yeah, like
yeah.
living out without
Even though
bathing.
that's
and
fine.
Yeah, well, we rock those hemp necklaces. Yeah, but like, there's other people that are in this this world of
Yeah.
regular employment that are doing it. So
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's
And we
really
try to show
cool.
people that it's like it doesn't have to be as expensive as you think it is. Like it's actually cheaper if you are eating the whole foods as opposed to
Yeah,
buy,
the
if you want to buy
alternatives and
if
We
you
stuff.
wanna buy
gotta-
all the alternative meats and stuff, that's
Yeah.
going to be just as expensive as the meat is.
I know.
But if-
I know.
Yeah, I had
I'm
a.
bad.
I love them. They're
I'm
delicious.
bad about it. Well,
But-
what we always do, and maybe we could curb this a little bit. Like we try to eat really healthy, like Monday through Thursday, and half of Friday. But then like Friday evening, Saturday, Sunday, we just like shit hits the fan. You know,
Yeah, Chinese
like we're
food.
yeah.
just go
Ew.
one day.
Satan's
Yeah,
realm,
maybe if we
yeah,
just had
just
like
do
Sunday.
Sundays.
Not only will
Yeah.
it save money, but
It would.
It will make you guys more fit.
Yeah. We
it's
really.
funny the money thing though. Like I didn't have the heart to tell her, but I have
Sam, come here.
I had a student teacher last year over here at West, and she's great, and she actually her parents have 5,000 pigs. That's
Yeah.
how big of a
Like a pig
farming
farm.
operation they have.
What a mess.
And
Yeah.
and that's
is
just
their
that's
daughter.
not even all they have. They have other stuff, but this is the daughter of this family, and she was interested in the vegan. She wasn't. She was just an open-minded human being, and any open-minded human being like.
sees this.
And you hear these things, and you're like, so she would ask questions, and then she was like, I'm going to try this, and she did it for like 4 months, and then I talked to her recently, and I was like, I'm always afraid to ask, someone that you've kind of convinced to be vegan. Are
Her
you still
name's
doing
Daphne.
it?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because then they feel judged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she was like, no, but things got tight with money, so I just couldn't afford to do it anymore. And I was like, no, that's not really how it is. But then she got hired as a teacher, and now she started again.
Oh, good.
But I'm like, so I was sending her your stuff, being like, listen, like,
It's
I didn't want to say this
that
before, but
expensive.
it's not about the money. Like, this can be way cheaper
It can.
lifestyle
Yeah.
than, I mean, unless you're just eating straight garbage, I guess.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you're eating filth, yeah, I mean, you can
Yeah,
find-
that you can get that for
Well, when
pretty
you're
cheap.
poor, you eat rice and beans, right?
Yeah,
We eat rice and beans
that's-
all
yeah,
the time
that's-
because we're kind of poor.
Well, and it's
It's one of my favorite
it's
meals.
Like, it's like rice and beans one day, and then like Beyond Beef like Korean bowls the next. It's a real like
There's a huge
doesn't make
divide.
sense.
Satan's
yeah.
Realm beef and cheddars.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh, going out to eat. Yeah, like we could go on about this, but like going out to eat as a vegan, it kind of stinks that there's so many options these days, and that before it was like, oh, I can't go out to eat, or I can't go get this because it's they don't have those options. But now it's like $40 at the little kitchen truck because
we want to be more involved
7
in
bagels.
like, the local vegan scene because we got the podcast. We want to like promote that, but we don't want to go out to the vegan scene because every time we do, it's like
$1
a
million
$90 night. Yeah.
Oh,
we
we were talking about on the way over here that you guys should start your own vegan breakfast place. So because
Oh my god, do
I
you
think
know
you would
that's
have
his
a
dream
good-
to have a diner?
Yeah,
Oh.
vegan diner.
Yeah, he's
There's
like
nowhere
really
to get like that's my biggest thing I miss about being a meat eater is Sunday morning after church or like when I was in college just going to a diner and getting a big pile of hash browns and eggs and like
breakfast stuff.
yeah.
There's not, in
And
my
she
opinion,
makes it great, but it's like there's something about going to a place too.
Yeah, when it's gotta be like there's a place that we did like that was on.
the Grande Cafe.
Yes, and they got rid of their vegan options.
I didn't even
Do you know
I
that?
didn't know they even had
Wait, is this
They-
in
they
the
might
Arena
have-
District?
No,
No,
it's right
that's
on
another
right on West Fifth Avenue.
Okay. Someplace in the Arena District, like right across from the arena,
Yeah.
like had vegan options, and they were like, "Just kidding, we're not going to do it anymore." We were like, "What?" Like, really upset.
I never heard of the Grande Cafe. We always like to go to Paul's and stuff and
They just
Yeah.
have hash browns. I mean, that's what we
yeah,
do.
so now we get hash browns and what's our
I
place
get
over
oatmeal,
here?
Tommy's.
Tommy's, yeah.
So yeah, there needs to be a breakfast place.
Yeah.
Because to me that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Wasn't you guys know Tofu Louie, or I'm sure
Yeah.
you've heard of him?
Yeah.
Wasn't he gonna do that for Porsche's?
Something, and it
There was
just
just some kind of they were gonna try to do a diner type thing.
That was
But
gonna
it-
be the old world.
yeah, old-
whatever.
Yeah, but you go to like
World- whole
like
world.
the Juice
yeah.
Company or these places that have
Yeah.
these like bomb ass amazing vegan brunches. They're great, but it's like I don't want to go out and get like smothered biscuits and like sausage gravy, quote unquote. I do once in a while, but I just want to go to a place that I can get like a tofu scramble with some hash browns
Yeah.
and like a cup of coffee
And a
for, like,
portion
$4
that is
or
like for
something.
a grown ass man.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the problem
Oh,
we have
yeah.
with these businesses is like you're gonna feed this guy a micro meal that
Yeah.
doesn't even feed me.
Yeah, for
You
like
know,
$12.
yeah,
I-
and now I gotta
You guys
go home
need
and eat
your
it again.
calories,
Hard to
you know?
justify that when I got to go home and eat more.
Yeah,
true.
it's
It's
an
true.
untapped market.
Yeah,
Lisa's
well,
always on the business ideas.
when I get a nanny, definitely look into opening up a restaurant.
Couple more houses, we'll get there.
And then I'll do the decorations. I'll sculpt all
Yes.
the decorations.
There you go.
And I'll do ice carving for your grand opening.
Yeah, we'll do it at the old Dirty Frank's.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
We'll
super
buy it.
close.
It's
We
happening.
tried to buy it. We're still trying to buy
We're
it.
buying it later.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, and check out sculptdecor.com.
Yep.
Sculptdecor.com.
We're gonna do this
Decor.
again soon if you guys.
Yeah,
if
you guys are
could. There's a
really
lot of stuff I
interesting.
really
This-
wanted to
this
ask about, but we didn't
whole
get to.
Workout aspect is so interesting and exciting for vegans because you don't think of vegans as people who are extremely, working out.
Maybe we'll
and
do
building
some, and
muscle.
then we can all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
guys
what I was
join
gonna
us for
say.
a workout and then we'll do
Love
a
it.
And
review.
we can reflect.
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Love it. I love it. Okay.
He
All right.
loves that word. Like, it sounds like a church word. Reflection.
All right. Well, thanks. Thanks for listening. Remember to rate us on all that stuff that Jimmy said earlier. All right. Good
Thanks,
night.
guys.